There is something ancient, something timeless, buried not just beneath the sands of forgotten empires, but deep within us. It lingers like smoke from a fire we don't remember lighting, a whisper from beyond the veil of time, soft but insistent, a voice not of the mind, but of the soul. A truth so vast, so unsettling, it was never meant to be forgotten. But somehow we did. Not because it was lost, not because it faded, but because the world grew loud and we stopped listening. We became distracted. We mistook noise for truth, and in doing so, we turned away from something sacred. But it never left. It still speaks, in the silence between your thoughts, in the stillness behind your breath, in the ruins we pass by without seeing, in the symbols carved into ancient stone, not as decoration, but as reminders. Reminders of a time when we knew who we were, when we understood that we were not separate from the stars, not strangers on this planet, but children of the cosmos and keepers of an ancient flame. Have you ever felt it? That strange electricity when you see a pyramid, a forgotten temple, a glyph that doesn't quite make sense, but feels familiar? That moment where your body knows what your mind can't explain? That's not coincidence. That's memory. Trying to surface, trying to speak. If this stirs something in you, even just a flicker, then type "I remember" in the comments, not for the algorithm, but as an act of resonance, a signal, a calling, because there are others just like you, waking up. And once you hear this voice, this ancient call, you can't unhear it, because it's not just a sound, it's a summoning. So take a deep breath, feel your heartbeat, and listen, not with your ears, but with the part of you that never forgot. Because the remembering begins now. Have you ever felt it? That unshakable pull toward the ancient world, a fascination that goes beyond curiosity, deeper than history books or documentaries could ever explain. It's not just interest, it's something older, older than memory, older than time. A strange sense of home when you see pyramids rising from the golden dust, standing not just as monuments, but as messages, silent, massive reminders of something we once knew. Or when your eyes settle on a vine-draped temple, swallowed by jungle, and instead of decay you feel reverence, like the earth is cradling something sacred. It's not just awe, it's recognition, a flicker of remembrance behind your ribcage, a quiet knowing that you've been here before, not in body perhaps, but in essence. Because somewhere deep inside, something remembers. Another time, another way of being, another you, not fractured by modern distractions, but whole. Modern life has made us fast, but hollow. We move quickly, but feel disconnected. We chase dopamine, distraction, validation, and we call it progress. But what if we've mistaken speed for evolution? What if we've been running away from something we were meant to carry forward? What if the civilizations we label as primitive weren't behind us in development, but ahead of us in understanding? What if they held secrets not just of the stars or the soil, but of the soul itself? And what if those truths weren't simply forgotten, but silenced? Hidden, suppressed, buried beneath centuries of conquest, dogma, and distraction, because a humanity that remembers what it truly is cannot be controlled. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're here now, to remember. This isn't just about history. This is about identity, about what lies beneath the programming, beneath the noise, the narratives, the neatly packaged timelines. Ancient Egypt, Sumer, the Indus Valley, the Olmec, the Maya, even older worlds, unnamed, erased by sand and sea, still echo through our myths, our symbols, our DNA. They left us clues, whispers in stone, alignments in architecture, stories wrapped in metaphor, symbols that speak, not to the logical mind, but to the soul's memory. Why? Because they knew. They knew we would forget. They foresaw the descent, the long fall into illusion, fragmentation, amnesia, but they also knew something else. They knew that one day, some of us would begin to remember. In Egypt, they called it the Zep Tepi, the first time, a golden age before the fall, a time when gods and humans walked together, not in myth, but in shared reality. But what if those gods weren't deities at all? What if they were something else entirely? Not divine, but remembered. Fragments of an ancient civilization far beyond what we're taught, a culture not just advanced in science, but awakened in spirit. Plato didn't describe Atlantis as a fairy tale. He described it as a memory, a civilization of immense knowledge and balance, lost not through divine punishment, but through a reset, a cosmic cycle, repeating. The ancient Vedas of India spoke of this too, of yugas, vast cosmic seasons of the soul. In the Satya Yuga, humanity is said to be aligned with truth, living in harmony with the universe. But as the wheel turns, we fall into the Kali Yuga, our current age, an age of illusion, division, and spiritual forgetfulness. Sound familiar? And then there are the Sumerians, often hailed as the cradle of civilization. But what if they weren't the beginning, but a continuation? Their cuneiform tablets, some of the oldest written records, tell of sky beings, the Anunnaki, who didn't just visit, they descended, bringing knowledge, law, structure, and something more. According to their texts, they reshaped humanity, genetically, spiritually, cosmically. They weren't primitive scribes. They tracked planetary movements with inexplicable precision, centuries, even millennia ahead of our modern instruments. How? Not coincidence, not guesswork, inheritance. A passing down of star maps and soul codes from a lineage older than we can fathom, a bridge between earth and sky, between what was and what could be again. Because the truth isn't just hidden in history books, it's etched into the architecture of our being. And slowly, the veil is thinning. Here's where it gets wild. Civilizations across the globe, separated by oceans, by time, by language, all told the same stories. Great floods that reset the earth, serpent beings guarding gateways to hidden knowledge, star visitors who came from above, not just in myth but in memory. Cosmic calendars carved into stone, tracking celestial alignments with surgical precision. Why? Why do we find the same symbols, spirals, serpents, suns, the tree of life, in ancient China, in Egypt, in the Andes of Peru, in the stone altars of Polynesia? These cultures were not in contact, not in the way history tells us, and yet they remembered the same things, because they weren't just building monuments, they were leaving messages. They saw the earth as a living library, not a resource to be exploited, but a sacred archive of memory, vibration, and divine design. And they were its librarians, caretakers of wisdom that wasn't theirs to own, but to preserve. But somewhere along the way, we stopped reading, we stopped listening, we forgot that stone could speak, that geometry could sing. That myth was never just story, it was instruction. Why did we forget? Because a human being who remembers what they are is powerful, unstoppable, and above all, uncontrollable. You can't enslave someone who knows they are infinite. You can't manipulate someone who recognizes illusion. And so, the wisdom keepers, the shamans, the seers, the temple scribes were slowly replaced. Not by accident, by design. They were silenced, rewritten, erased. In their place came new systems, not to awaken, but to contain. The sacred became commerce, the soul became data, the truth became noise, and the human spirit, once expansive and radiant, was compressed into a box of expectations, rules, and roles. But the symbols, they never left, they endured, etched into cathedrals, woven into mandalas, hidden in plain sight, in ancient texts, sacred geometry, even in your dreams. And now, they're starting to speak again, not with words, but with resonance. A quiet frequency that calls to something deep within you, not your mind, your memory. Because this isn't new information, it's ancient knowing, finally breaking through the static. Let's talk about frequency, the language beneath all language, the invisible blueprint of everything. The ancients didn't guess this, they knew. They understood that reality isn't made of matter, it's made of vibration, of frequency, of energy in motion. Your body, not just flesh and bone, but a resonant instrument. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel is a vibration, a wave rippling across the vast field of your being. Temples weren't just places of worship, they were sonic sanctuaries, architectural tuning forks, each chamber built with perfect proportions to amplify sound, to elevate consciousness. The chants, the OM, the drumming rituals, these weren't primitive customs, they were spiritual technologies, tools designed to tune the soul, to realign human frequency with cosmic order. And today, modern science is just starting to catch up. Quantum physics now confirms what the mystics said millennia ago. Observation shapes reality. The observer and the observed are entangled. Matter responds to mind, consciousness creates. But this isn't new. The ancients spoke it clearly, as above so below, as within so without. They didn't see a split between self and cosmos, they saw a mirror. The human body was a microcosm of the universe. The stars weren't just above, they were within. Each organ, each breath, each pulse mirrored the rhythms of the heavens. The zodiac wasn't just for fortune telling, it was anatomy, mapped to the spine, the chakras, the very flow of your energy. 7 chakras, 7 visible planets, 7 energy gates through which your consciousness rises. Breath was the bridge, spiritus, prana, chi. Every inhale a drawing in of the divine, every exhale a release of illusion. They knew that breath wasn't just air, it was remembrance. But today, we're told we're machines, biological accidents, soulless beings in a cold, mechanical universe. We're told that love is just chemicals, that dreams are just brain static, that intuition is just a glitch, that the soul, superstition. But you know better. You've felt things you can't explain. You've had moments, fleeting but profound, where time stopped, where your heart knew something your mind couldn't name, where the veil felt thin. You've stood in silence and heard something sacred. You've seen dreams more vivid than reality, and woken up wondering which was which, because that truth is not outside of you, it's inside, still alive, still waiting, not lost, just buried, beneath noise, beneath distraction, beneath doubt, but it's calling now, like a frequency only your soul can hear. And once you tune in, everything changes. The ancients didn't leave behind doctrines to obey. They left us tools to remember. They understood something we've forgotten, that truth is not something you're told. It's something you feel, something you become. Want to reconnect? Start here. Start with the one thing that has never left you, your breath. 4 counts in, hold. 4 counts out, hold again, repeat. Feel the stillness between each breath. That pause. It's not just space, it's the gateway. That silence. It's not emptiness. It's you, your true self, waiting patiently beneath the noise. Try sun gazing, early morning light, or just before dusk. Not worship, communion. You're not looking at the sun, you're receiving from it. The ancients believed the sun carried codes, not just light, but information. A cosmic download that enters through your eyes and awakens something forgotten in your DNA. Chant OM, let it roll through your chest like thunder in a sacred cave. This is not a sound, it's a frequency. The vibration that built the stars, the hum of the universe before words, before time. Chant it 3 times, feel the shift, walk barefoot, not just to feel the earth, but to merge with it. Let your skin touch the living pulse beneath you. The Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the planet. Your body was designed to sync with it. Reconnect, and your inner compass starts to awaken. The fog lifts, the remembering begins. Keep a journal, but not for to-do lists or overthinking. Use it as a record of symbols, patterns, numbers that repeat, animals that cross your path, dreams that refuse to fade. These are not coincidences, they are messages, whispers from the deeper self, the soul communicating in its original language, synchronicity. And perhaps most important of all, create ritual. It doesn't need to be complex, it just needs to be real. Each morning, light a candle, whisper a word of power, not for anyone else, just for you, for your spirit. Let the day begin not with your calendar, but with intention, not from pressure, but from presence. These simple acts aren't ancient relics, they're activations, they're how you tune the instrument of your soul. And when you begin to live this way, everything changes. You begin to see not with your eyes, but with your memory. The memory of who you truly are and why you came here. The more you begin to remember, the more this modern world might feel off. The noise, the rush, the endless scroll, the pressure to be everything yet feel like nothing. That dissonance you feel, that quiet ache in your chest, that isn't a flaw. It's not a glitch in your system, it's a signal. You're waking up, and you're not the only one. Others feel it too. In quiet bedrooms, on crowded trains, under stars they can't stop staring at. They're remembering, quietly, fiercely, inwardly. They may not speak it aloud yet, but they carry that ancient fire in their chest just like you do. You're not alone. You're part of something ancient, returning. This path isn't about nostalgia. It's not about romanticizing ruins or chasing forgotten gods. It's about becoming what the ancients once were. Awake, aligned, whole, divine. They didn't just build pyramids and temples. They encoded memory into stone. They spoke in frequency. They whispered through geometry. And they left their wisdom not just in monuments, but in the blueprint of your soul. And you are not a mistake. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are a temple of ancient light, a breathing archive of forgotten truths, a bridge between what was and what can be. So now, ask yourself, now that I remember, what will I become? Let that question echo. Let it sit with you when you wake. Let it guide your steps, your choices, your voice. Because this isn't just about inspiration, it's about activation. About choosing every day to walk differently, to breathe on purpose, to listen more deeply, to live from the inside out. And if something in you stirred today, if even for a moment your heart whispered, yes, I know this, then don't scroll past, don't let that moment fade. Like this video, not for algorithms or vanity metrics, but as a signal, a flare in the dark, a ripple in the remembering. And in the comments, write it, type it with your whole soul. I remember who I am. Let others see it. Let the fire spread. Let the ancient current flow again through you. Because this isn't just a story, it's a return, it's a reawakening, and it's just beginning. So until next time, seeker, walk with wonder, breathe with purpose, speak with reverence, and live as if the universe is watching, because it is. And never stop asking the ancient question, what else have we forgotten? And who might we become if we truly remember? What if the most advanced technology isn't made of wires or silicon, but of spirit, intention, and presence? The ancients didn't wait for AI or satellites. They mastered the original interface, the human being. They activated their bodies like temples, treated their minds like portals, and held their hearts like sacred altars. They fasted, not to lose weight, but to cleanse the lens of perception. They meditated, not for calm, but to step between dimensions. They dreamed, not for escape, but for navigation. To them, intuition wasn't soft, it was a compass. Imagination wasn't childish, it was creation. And the body, a divine instrument, tuned by breath, movement, sound, and light. They understood something we've forgotten. You are the altar, you are the ceremony, you are the offering. And in a world that profits from you forgetting that, remembering becomes a radical act. So the question isn't whether ancient knowledge still exists, it's whether you're ready to become the living technology of the soul again. Are you ready to reclaim your inner circuitry? Are you ready to move through this world with the same sacredness they once carried? Then begin. Not with something loud, but with something real. A pause, a prayer, a breath. That's all it takes. That's where it begins. If this resonates with you, please subscribe. Join us on this journey of awakening and discovery. Keep the fire burning and never stop remembering who you are. There is a wave building, not out in the ocean, but within humanity. The rememberers are rising, not in temples, not in palaces, but in quiet homes, late-night journals, whispered conversations, and starlit walks. They are the ones who can no longer pretend to be asleep, who feel too much, too deeply, too vividly, not as a curse, but as a calling. They are healers, artists, rebels, empaths, dreamers. Many don't have titles, but their frequency is unmistakable. You may be one of them. You felt the pull toward the sacred even when the world said grow up. You've asked questions no one could answer, but your soul never stopped searching. This is your confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not imagining the ancient fire rising again. You were born for this time, not to blend in, but to remember, to wake up, and to light the path for others. So when the world feels heavy, remember your role. You're not just surviving. You're anchoring something ancient, eternal, and true. And when you feel overwhelmed, pause. Place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, whisper it. I remember who I am. Let that be your shield, your spell, your signal, because the age of forgetting is ending, and you, seeker, are part of what comes next.